Guys, welcome back to another episode of Fly Die Fridays. I'm your host, Vern Dees. Listen, I am so excited about this segment today. I've got my good friend, co-founder of Warpath music group, Loper, okay? And so, but listen, before we get into this awesome conversation, I need you to do two things for me. I need you to subscribe to this page and like these videos, man. And so, man, we appreciate your support. You guys tune in every week. But I can't wait to share this episode with you. Fly or die. Love you guys. Peace.
This is a Homage beat.
Well, guys, welcome back to another episode of Fly Die Fridays. I'm here again with the co-founder of Warpath Music Group. And the cool thing about this whole situation is about 2 years ago, we were needing office space. I reached out, all the social medias, and your business partner, Nate, said, man, we got a space. And we were right across the annex here. And you guys, man, I just appreciate you guys so much. You guys let me office out of there, kind of get my brand back on the good foot, so to speak. And man, I appreciate that. And so, but we've been officing together. Cause the Group Fly headquarters were right next door to the Warpath headquarters.
Yep.
And so we've been officing together. We're going 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's definitely one of those things where destiny was fulfilled.
Right.
Greatness has been achieved.
Right.
And now it's about continuing to grind.
And so, speaking of the grind, one thing I love about just working with you guys and being able to experience what you guys do, I feel like you guys are one of the best kept secrets, locally in the music, and not even locally but nationally. You guys, work with some of the biggest in the electronic music scene. But I need the people to know how did you get into music?
Jeez, yeah. It's one of those things where I grew up here.
Right.
I'm from Bethany.
OKC kid.
Yep, I was born and raised here. I love it here. I think right out of high school is a very pivotal age. You're trying to figure out who you are, what you want to do. Do you want to be a doctor, a lawyer? Do you want to be a gypsy nomad, whatever?
Gypsy nomad.
And, for me, I wasn't really sure. I wasn't really sure what the next step was. And I think that there's a lot of people out there like that. But, I just knew that I was passionate about music and really enjoyed playing in a band. I went on tour with that said band.
What position? What instrument?
I attempted to play the bass guitar. I was absolutely horrible at it, but it was a fun ride. So I did the band thing for about 3 years. Then we toured quite a bit, and I met a lot of people. That turned into then managing that said band, getting them signed, and that was kind of my first, I guess, taste of what the quote-unquote music industry was. I didn't know if I could ever necessarily be profitable doing it, but I knew I enjoyed it. And I think that, the tenacity that you kind of have to show in the early days of not getting any respect, people not paying attention, having to work through those obstacles especially from Oklahoma City.
Right.
Which is, obviously not a major music market. You had to kind of outwork your competition. Right. And that was kind of what I always kind of focused on. That turned into, helping bands that were on tour come through from the East Coast to West Coast. Oklahoma City's smack dab in the middle of the country. We facilitated a lot of shows, met up with I had a partner at the time. We started doing, a lot of different shows, and ended up expanding, and that's how I met my current partner, Nate. Nate was in college, in office real close to the school he went to. He would come over and give me crap about what kind of offers I was sending
Right.
to these agents. And you know, that's kind of how we started. He was in college, and that kind of segued into a great friendship that we still have, and then, you know, into this new entity. I mean, we did this production company, started a production company, which, you know...
And that's for the shows and stuff?
That was for the shows. And, you know, at the time I had made a lot of connections from touring, and so I was able to kind of apply that to, you know, just being able to facilitate shows and send offers. Reggie, who used to run the Green Door, you know, years and years ago, was a big, you know, it was very influential in my life. I learned a lot from him. Giovanni, who, you know, used to run the conservatory.
Right, Giovanni.
Which is actually, you know, ironically enough, I think one of the first times I ever saw you was at the conservatory performing with
oh, wow.
JB, and I think Disciple.
Right.
A couple other people.
You used to have some bars back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, it's like, the music community here is tight knit. So
right.
You kind of run into a lot of people, and so, you know, that kind of made it so that I didn't necessarily knew what I was going to do with the rest of my life, but I knew that, you know, I enjoyed what I was doing, being able to connect with people, and kind of working on my own terms.
Right.
And that was a big thing for me. You know, I had always kind of
so
set out...
kind of entrepreneur drive, you always had it.
The main goal was to never have to have a real job.
Right.
That was always kind of like, I didn't want to work in the mall anymore. You know, and we've all done stuff like that to make it by.
Right.
You know, and for me, like, the ultimate success was not necessarily a fiscal kind of threshold, but more of like working for myself and being able to say, you know what, I'm gonna do things my own way.
Man,
so
that's so inspirational, dude.
Yeah.
And so now, you know, let's fast forward to this current moment. Like, I've just been amazed. I just been around you guys for maybe 36 months, just about, give or take.
Something like that.
But I've just been amazed. Just, you know, I think I got invited out to go to a show with you guys in Tulsa, and I just had no idea.
Yeah.
You know, I had no idea that's the impact, and we're talking like these regional shows, not alone like these. You guys are overseas doing things. You guys are at some of the biggest festivals. Like, you guys are going to do Coachella with some of your artists.
Yeah, I do Coachella this Sunday, actually.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, and then what really blew my mind was, you know, I've always been, you know, friendly with Martin.
Yeah.
You know, Liquid Stranger, one of your clients.
Yeah.
Macan is the label.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Macan, shouts out to Martin. But it was like, you know, recently I had the opportunity to do a song, and then we went to Tulsa, and it was just like insane. I started looking up, you know, Martin. He's huge.
Yeah, he's doing well. It's
like, so how do you get to that point?
You know,
from going from punk shows to being at Coachella.
So, you know, for me, I think the transition was we were doing the production company, and that was, I mean, by the finale of it. We were in 6 markets, did 250 shows plus a year, had weathered the 2008, you know, train wreck of, you know, the entire country. We were able to make it through and continue to work hard and prosper.
Right.
Is basically, you know, what we had achieved. In being an entrepreneur, that allows you, I mean, certain things come into your life. For us, I had met, I had been friends with this guy named Chad Romborg, and he was in this...
Brad Chad, shout out.
Yeah, love Chad. His birthday was a couple days ago. Happy birthday.
Chad.
And he had come into my life at a very pivotal time where, you know, we became great friends. He ended up working for the company, and was basically him and Matt Buckley were in this duo called Kids at the Bar. That was my first experience with being able to help them. They were getting booked, and they, you know, wanted to have a level of protection.
Right.
They were like, can you help us, you know, book some shows? And I was like, well, it's, you know, literally the exact opposite of what I do. So yes, I know how to do that. I've never done it, but let's try it, you know? And it's always great to be able to do something like that. I didn't need it to pay my bills at that point. I didn't need it. It was a friend helping a friend.
Looking out.
Yeah, just a homie wanting to work with a homie. And that became essentially Warpath Group.
Wow.
And,
I had no idea that started with, Chad.
It was Chad. Chad basically showed us, in theory, dance music. And, coming from the punk hardcore world of doing, hard-ticketed shows, doing a lot of production stuff, we were just like, this is, definitely different, but it's cool, it's fun, and then we were able to see kind of crossover artists that had been in, hardcore bands and like Cash and Skrillex and things like that had kind of escalated and translated to dance music.
So you saw the movement.
So we saw that kind of navigation happening, and Chad needed help and Matt needed help, and so we were like, you know what, let's just try it. Let's just, be a friend and see what we can do. And I remember the first show I booked, that kind of escalated super quickly, and there was like this kind of time frame where certain acts weren't getting booked by the biggest agencies, and so there was like this big void of like great acts that made good money but not so great where they could get picked up by an agency.
Right.
And we focused on doing that, and that being our bread and butter. That turned into being literally so busy with booking shows, and then not only booking shows but doing it so well that our clients ended up getting poached off by bigger agencies at that point that weren't interested, in which those said artists then kept us on as management because that's something I had already previously done, and so it just was the natural fit. Basically, fast forward, we 2011 completely transitioned from doing just full-time production with shows and booking talent into creating this new entity of doing basically booking and management for randomly DJs. And now it's like like for instance, you said Liquid Stranger was literally my third management client. And he tried, we talked for probably 7 months before I ended up starting to manage him. And when I started with him, he was making $1,000 to $1,500. And now we make...
What are you doing now?
50 times that.
Wow. So that's a big number. So like you can just add that up. I mean, I've heard the number a couple times. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's not necessarily about hitting a fiscal benchmark and saying it has to be this threshold of an offer for us to come out and play. It's more based on a percentage of the size of the room.
Right.
For me, I think that's probably the best way to kind of go about it. Because, you mentioned Tulsa. Tulsa, you kind of live within the means that you can, the capacity. Happen. So, I wanted, the guy that promoted that show is a great friend of ours, and at the same time, it's like, you kind of develop these relationships and know that who you can trust and who you can't. And, that was a show where it made sense for us to go into that smaller cap room because of the situation, and then you deal with that across the nation. It's like, do you want to do, an 800 cap room where you can blow out and sell out in advance, weeks on in advance? Or do you want to do a 2,500 cap room where it's going to take, and you have to kind of just look at in your trajectory and your entire market and see what makes sense. So
the cool thing is, like, I'm seeing you guys, like, you guys do Coachella, you guys will do, it's just nuts, dude. And you'll do like an awesome cool venue that might be a little bit smaller in Tulsa. And so like what would you say, I'm looking at your journey from local guy pushing these shows to being on stage at some of the biggest venues in the world.
Yeah.
Like, what can you leave with our audience? Like, what's that nugget of truth? What's that golden nugget of wisdom that you can leave with us today?
I think there's a couple pieces that have been very influential in my life. One, loyalty above all. It has to be. If you do not have the loyalty and give the loyalty to the people that you work with, and promote them, it's never going to work. You're always going to be in a rat race chasing something.
Bro. Right.
The second thing that I would say that's been influential in my journey other than just being loyal to the people that you've grown with and built with and not worried about the rat race per se, is just enjoying the process.
That's good.
You don't go from, 0 to 100 overnight. And yes, like there are those instances and those acts, and frankly, like I've found a few of them and I've experienced that. I mean, a few years ago I managed an act that was single-handedly arguably one of the biggest acts in dance music. And while it was a trip to some extent, it was also a humongous pain. And for as quickly as they got big, they misstepped, and the fact is you can die that quick too.
Right.
And so, with my clients now, and what we're kind of focusing on is longevity and being in a situation where there's incremental growth by 30 to 40% versus throwing the haymaker and potentially ruining what you've built over the course of years in a couple months, because things can change. And we've been able to outlive a lot of artists by, I don't want to say not taking risk, you have to take risk, but being cautious and calculated in the risk that you in theory take.
So good.
And enjoying the process of the small wins. And like I remember back in the day when I started, I would just pray and be like, oh my God, please get a response to this email. And then I would hear a little ding and I'd be like, oh my God, this is it. And then it was like spam. But the point is that enjoying the process and enjoying the journey, we all want to achieve our goals. Right. But the point is being able to enjoy what you're building in the moment. Like I have a great partner who we have overcome.
Shout out Nate.
Yeah, my dog. A ton of, really unique circumstances. We have a great staff. It takes time to find those people.
Well, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. And I know your time is very important, so I don't take that for granted. So thank you so much for giving us your time.
I'll send you an invoice.
No doubt he will on that. But I appreciate you on several different levels. Just number one, your friendship. Number two, being able to bounce stuff off and getting like unfiltered, just creative wisdom from you. And then also letting us print the Lacan merch. And we're going to show you some of the stuff we got to print. Lacan is, God bless you. So for our last segment, one thing I like to do is, we're sneakerheads over here at Group Fly.
Yep.
And I know that you're a huge MMD guy.
Yep. I got white feet.
So. Right. A huge Yeezy guy.
Yeah.
And then recently you just got the Pharrell MMDs.
Yeah.
Incredible. I don't know how you got those, but you got them.
Super cool. Yeah.
So you just got the clay. So what I'm gonna hand you this shoe, and I want you to tell me how you feel. When you open that box up, how do you feel?
First off, I have to acknowledge where these came from. Right. And I tried to get them. I failed, but our graphic designer B,
shouts out B,
Brian Peace, my dude, he is a sneaker god. Somehow can get anything and makes it work every single time.
I don't know how he got a pair. He won like 2 raffles.
Yeah, I think actually like 3 or 4. So he has a gift. Hopefully he doesn't quit Warpath Group and just do that full time. I don't know if there's any money in it, but the fact is that thank you B, I appreciate it. I wear almost all black exclusively. Right.
I think we all do. I think we all came together.
Yeah. So in wearing all black, it's just I just had to find something that differentiated.
A pop of color.
Yeah, a little something. And that's why I'm a big fan of these. They're a weird kind of color, but I just feel like it's a little pizzazz to my normal death outfit. So.
And then right now he has all the frozen yellows which again he won in a raffle. Shout out to B.
Yep, B got these too.
And so you like the colorway on that?
I do.
You haven't worn these yet, have you?
I have not. No, these are. Well, there's the tag. So.
Are you going to take them to Coachella, maybe? Break them out there?
Coachella's really dusty. So I doubt I will.
Yeah,
In fact,
destroyed your NFD last year.
I might even wear pants. So yeah, it's
Wow.
it's one of those things where I doubt I'll do that, but I'll probably take these. I don't know if I'll wear them, but
Nice.
Options.
There it is. Well, there you have it. Man, Loper, so much. Thank you for coming out, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think let's crash your office. Listen, guys, this is a great episode. Again, subscribe to this YouTube channel, like our videos. Man, I'll see you guys next week. Love you guys. Fly or die.